SimTheWorld here. We are back with Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. Cruising along through these story orders. Let's check out today's. Our customer says, "Hello. I found this car slowly sinking into the ground in my grandfather's backyard. I was told that it used to belong to my aunt, but she doesn't want it anymore, and that I can have it. I thought, great. But in this condition, there's not much I can do with it. I've heard great things about you and thought you might be able to revive it. See if you can bring this classic car back to its former glory." So we've got some parts to replace. We have to repair some of the body components, change the oil, and we'll repaint it. So this is a lot of work. Okay. But it doesn't... Okay, it does look like a lot of parts. Part list is long. Let's take a look and see what's wrong. Oh, that's so much rust. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Boy, we got our work cut out for us. Let's run a couple of the tests. Make sure it's not anything in the engine. That would be really sad. And pistons are 31%, but I think... Let's take a look at our order list. It looks like 31% is our minimum. So anything under the 31% we will have to replace, but that leaves so much. Oh my. Yeah, so much of this. Yeah, let's get this on the lifter. I believe most of this is going to end up being suspension work. It's got a crappy engine. But what can you do about that? Maybe he'll come back and we'll swap the engine on this thing. That'd be kind of cool. Follow through on... It's just missing the windows straight up and the lights. A license plate looks like crap. Maybe we'll take care of that for him. So, we got our work cut out for us. I'm going to take some of the body parts off. We're going to replace and clean this up a bit. This is an old find of his. Maybe we can make this look a little better than he expected. Maybe he'll be more inclined to bring this back in for us to do the engine, because that will be some serious money. So, let's see. Can't repair any of the body components. That's sad. I'm going to get to work on the suspension. I want to rip everything out and see, because you can just kind of tell all of this stuff is straight rusted. Like the rim here, gone completely. How about the caliper? Caliper's at 31%. Brake disc needed replaced. Like, this job is just going to be a lot of searching of components. And to be clear, we probably could have taken some of this, taken it to the test track. We could test more components. I'm pretty sure most of this is actually just suspension work. That's kind of why I'm diving in now. Maybe suspension, and brakes. I don't think there's much else here, but we're going to rip it all apart and see if we can't get the full part list. And we'll go from there. Sounds like the smart choice. So I'll see you when that's taken care of. I've been digging around the engine bay, and there it was. The last item is the ignition wires. So here's the part list. Most of it was suspension. Brake servo, the battery, and the front radiator were the only things I really found under the hood, other than those wires, of course. Everything else is tires, rims, and suspension components. So I drained the oil already. I wanted to make sure to do that. And in fact, I think we can refill it. We don't have to change the filter. We go ahead and replace all the parts up top here. That will make it simpler. Won't need to come up under the hood again. We'll have to put on a hood, of course. I took all of the body parts off. We're going to try to fix this car up. Maybe the engine is going to be trash condition, but I kind of hope we see this car again and we get to finish this job. So let's get that fender off too. I brought the welder over because I do kind of want to clean it up a bit. No point having a rusty exterior with a new paint job. Try to make this look nice. I also wanted to come over here to the repair bench. Everything's at 31%. I'm kind of curious what we can do as far as new parts go. See how many of these we fix and how many we have to end up replacing out of our own money. But if we got all the suspension components off, why not try to make this a nice ride for our customer? I know, this is very unlike me. Normally, I try to stay by the books. But I thought, we have the extra money, might as well try. We're also replacing all the bushings, because that's what a real mechanic would do. Wouldn't reuse the old, barely held together pieces of rubber that are shearing away from each. I mean, I'm sure we destroyed them, removing them from this car to begin with, so makes sense to replace them. Looks like we got a lot of these parts that are new or that we fixed completely, which is nice. Go ahead and get the rear taken care of. Of course, if you're playing along, yeah, you saw right there one of the drums. Oop, nope, we want the new tire. We have new tires for this car. I find it easier than pulling them apart. I'll take care of selling and getting the money out of those rims another time. But yes, let's jump over to the shop, because we saw the brake shoe needed replaced. One of those we broke when we were trying to repair. Of course, hopefully we get some more interesting repairing options when the 2021 version comes out, because if you guys saw my teaser trailer review, it was clearly shown that there is a brake lathe. So we'll have some more interaction with the repairing and truing up some, rotors and brake pads and all that good stuff. Hopefully that will add a lot more content to the game. Hopefully there's more content than just a brake lathe, of course. And we are almost done with the rear end, so we'll go back up to the front end. I guess this is a nice change. We're not doing a full engine rebuild. And again, of course, I really do want to repair the rest of this car. We're getting to the point where it's like, we got the money, we've got the skill. We can repair this all pretty quickly. It's just about how much the customer wants to spend. And of course, no one wants to spend the money it takes to rebuild a full car. Because it's never worth that in the end. Otherwise, you'd see a lot more people flipping cars. Let's jump up front here, see what we got to replace. I'm always worried because sometimes there are components that break and we'll have to jump back into the shop. Never quite economical to do this, but... And it costs money to repair these parts. There's a small fee associated with it. Tie rods did not get replaced. Let me see, did we replace? You know what? We're doing the rest of this. We're replacing the tie rods too. I mean, how much are tie rods? I don't even know in the game. So we're looking at $102 total. We can spend that. And I'm curious if these costs end up getting translated to the customer too somehow. I mean, we do get that bonus, so if anything, we're just eating out of the bonus we get at the end of the day. Which, in my mind, to do the job right, if you're going to take off these tie rods and have to, line this all back up and figure out, the lengths, you might as well do it with the new parts that will last longer. That's what I'd want a mechanic to tell me. Even though if I might not want to hear it, that it's a little more expensive than I want. If it's going to save me, the time and labor to replace it now when it's already off the car, it makes sense. Okay, so we are almost done with the front end. Again, you'd replace the brake pads if you're replacing the rotors. This is some of the realism that I want to see in some of the orders going forward. You know, you also replace in pairs. I know some of these jobs, especially with the random orders, they'll ask you to repair, you know, 2 brake pads on one side of the car, and then the rotors for maybe the front, and all sorts of weird combinations that just don't balance or make sense. But I've been chatting enough. Let me finish this up, and I'll meet you guys over at the paint shop. I think that's the last thing we have to do, other than, you know, getting the rest of the body parts on. But I'm going to replace those as well. That's going to get a little more expensive, but I'm kind of curious how we do overall money-wise. Interesting. Factory color for this car is white as well. I don't know what's going on with that. I wonder if there is some sort of bug or something's weird. I feel like the last car we just did, the factory color was white as well. And of course, this definitely looked like a black car when it started. I'm not going to say the white doesn't look good on it, but the white really doesn't look that good on it, if I'm honest. This is definitely a car that needs to be black or orange. I could see a light blue or red, or really essentially any color but white. I don't like it personally, but I did find some Wyoming license plates. They had a nice landscape on them. Of course, I was assuming it'd be a different color than straight white. So yeah, that kind of clashes with it, but this car is done. This order is ready to go. Here's the full parts list. We nailed it. Everything's taken care of. Interior is 1%. You know what? Let's take care of that too. That's $100 to clean up the interior. We'll make that happen. We'll clean up the dirt from the inside from when it was sinking in the ground. Boom. Done. This customer should be happy. I know I am. This is a nice car. Hopefully he does come back in and we get to replace that engine and the exhaust system specifically. But otherwise, that's 16 grand. We made our money. We spent... Oh, so it does tell us the total spent, which was $5,000. I'll have to go back and confirm. I don't recall offhand if that $100 was added in or not. But that would be cool if it was. This car is done. And with that, so are we. Thanks for watching as I simulate my life one game at a time. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the future action. You can follow on Twitter for updates of future games being played, as well as follow on Twitch, as I'll occasionally stream live. Thanks, and I'll see you next time at SimTheWorld.